I've played a lot of video games over the years, some great and some not so great, and at times some that have fundamentally changed the way I think about them altogether. Experiences that have made me contemplate the very definition of art, a constantly changing and shifting outwards expression. Reflecting back at the world, and reflecting back at me, and reflecting back at you. Countless hours spent exploring virtual spaces, immersing myself in their landscapes, interacting with its inhabitants, and arising to their constant aid. Reflecting on all of this has made me realize that throughout all of these experiences, the ones that had truly impacted me the most were almost always from a place that I was least expecting it. I've always felt that the truer, more pure, and more challenging expressions of art appear from beneath the medium surface, shimmering away gently below, waiting for somebody to reach out and to find them. Indie games. Here are some of my favorite experiences that have made me reach out, and I think that you should too. Norco. Norco is a point-and-click adventure game that was released in 2022 by Geography of Robots, and like the namesake, is set in an alternative, futuristic, yet still strikingly familiar landscape to Norco, Louisiana. A massive, towering, spluttering petroleum complex with less than 3,000 inhabitants. It's vast and gritty and grimy and full of smoke, and yet it is surprisingly beautiful. You follow Kay, a woman who fled Norco when she had the chance. Years spent on the road, nights spent sleeping inside of abandoned nuclear tunnels, avoiding war, violence, chaos, and death for as long as she could until the news of her mother finally catches up to her. Kay returns home and begins unraveling the life that she had left behind, a life that she had never lived, and the lives of those who had stayed. Reflecting on these lives, Kay begins to ask questions. There are things here in Norco that don't make any sense. Venturing out and looking for answers, Kay will encounter the many townsfolk of Norco. They are old friends, new adversaries, and they will all lead to new questions. The residents of Norco are fascinating and frightening. They have their own sorrows, their own pain, and their own stories to tell. This arduous bayou has given and has taken from all, and you never quite know exactly who or what you will come face to face with next. Unraveling this journey can seem overwhelming, but all of the residents you meet and all of the questions that you find answers to are recorded within your mind map, a literal interpretation of Kay's thoughts, feelings, and inner monologues. This serves as your guide, veering you in the right direction, keeping you on track, and helping you to figure out the road ahead. This is Kay's most important tool, as there are decisions to be made here. Who are these characters? What do you know about them? Could you take them in a fight? Is there a piece of the puzzle missing that could help you avoid them altogether? This whole experience and the journey throughout Norco is captivating. With its pixelated art style, mesmerizing soundtrack, and wholly unique cast of characters, it perfectly captures this strange and abstract world. A world overrun with technology. The loss of humanity and the tendrils of greed are thematically sewn into the fabric of every pixelated frame. It's haunting and captivating and dark and mysterious, and it can't help but swallow you up. It's up to you to explore this world, to learn about these people, and to learn about your place within it. This is a truly well-written, puzzling, and intriguing adventure game with twists, turns, loss, love, and there's really nothing quite like your first time unfolding and untangling the many mysteries of the intensely unique experience that is Norco. Citizen Sleeper. Citizen Sleeper is another point-and-click adventure game that was released in 2022 by Jump Over the Age. Awakening on a sprawling, expansive spaceship known as the Eye, you, the player, are what is commonly referred to as a sleeper, a human whose mind has been digitized and placed into the body of a robot. What makes this narrative point-and-click adventure experience is a little different, however. It's the inclusion of its RPG mechanics. Tools and skills that provide your crumbling metallic frame with a way in which to adapt to life here on the Eye and its harsh, ever-intimidating expanse. Even with these tools, navigating through the Eye isn't an easy task. There are countless challenges ahead, both external and internal, as the very status and well-being of your character directly impacts how much you can achieve on any given day. Your slowly decaying synthetic body needs constant maintenance that you must work hard on to fix. You were designed to fail, a constant ticking reminder of your fragility, encouraging all of your efforts to feel futile. But this fear, this urgency, only ever pushes you forward. All of the steps that you take through the Eye are purposeful. They have meaning, because they simply need to. This ever-present decay provides for a consistently tense balancing act. Planning out your day, deciding exactly where you want to go and exactly who you want to see, surviving, eating, sleeping, often taking a large risk for the smallest opportunity of an easier tomorrow. This is the main driving force behind Citizen Sleeper, and although it might seem a little intimidating, it's such a tightly designed experience that it will never do enough to make you feel truly hopeless. You can survive and you can thrive regardless of what it takes, and you will want to do so. Because life on the Eye truly feels like a living, breathing city. The characters here are complex. They have their own ambitions, they have their own struggles and their own needs. They are always there in the back of your mind as you venture out into the Eye, constantly reminding you of the task that you are undertaking, and constantly reminding you of what it truly means to make sacrifice, and of the links that you must go to in order to make true and meaningful change. This is one of the few games that, despite its almost 7 hours runtime, that once I picked it up, I could not put it down, and I know that I'm not alone on this. Citizen Sleeper is more than worthy of your slowly decaying time. Moving away from the theme of having excellent dialogue and continuing on with the theme of having an absolutely killer soundtrack, let's take a closer look at Neon White. Neon White is a first-person action platformer that was released by developers Angel Matrix in the great year of video games that was 2022. You play as White, a neon, an ex-assassin and a sinner who has been tasked with eradicating an infestation of demons that have found their way into heaven. And in exchange for completing this difficult task, White has the opportunity to leave the depths of hell and to earn his salvation once and for all. This premise provides the perfect backdrop for what is one of the greatest, high-octane speedgunning gameplay experiences to ever exist. On the surface, Neon White already promises and provides for what is a truly great and addictive gameplay loop, but what really elevates this whole experience and all of your time spent throughout heaven is the use of its intuitive soul cards mechanic. As you progress throughout the various stages of Neon White, you will collect these cards. They act as both your weapon and as a way of accessing a variety of movement effects. In order to make use of these effects, however, you must first discard it from your hand, which in turn will also discard the weapon it is attached to from your deck. It's from this core mechanic that consistently enthralling moment-to-moment gameplay occurs, constantly shifting between your offensive and kinetic toolsets, balancing your hand with each step you take throughout the stages of heaven, rapidly pushing forwards, eliminating demons effectively and, more importantly, as efficiently as possible. In many ways, Neon White is asking for you to rush towards the exit. You can even rush through all of its dialogue. However, with its racing-inspired ghost laps and its time trial reward system, you are actively encouraged to repeat these stages many times over, perfecting each level and learning which cards you will need and which cards that you don't. It is asking for you to master your tools, to master your route, to go for the best time, to go for that ace medal. And if you're a true Neon like me, to go for that cool shiny red one too. And doing all of this looks and feels and sounds absolutely amazing to do so. If you want to feel like Corvo Attano has possessed John Wick inside of a super monkey ball, then this is the perfect video game for you. It feels almost impossible to describe what makes the Outer Wilds so unbelievably special without ruining exactly what it is that makes it so. Foundationally, The Outer Wilds is an open worlds exploration game that assigns the player with the grand expedition of documenting and deciphering the many depths of its atypical solar system. This is the only objective that Outer Wilds initially provides you with, and it's through this open-ended game design where the genius of the game starts to truly flourish. As you venture out into deep space, you will uncover countless threads and mysteries that you can't help but grasp toward. They are tangled and they are elusive, and they will take you on countless journeys that will at first feel overwhelming, almost incomprehensible. But by reflecting upon these mystifying moments, the brilliance of the Outer Wilds will start to take hold. With the correct knowledge and with the correct discerning of its enigmatic universe, the game could be completed during your very first time with it. The only progression system utilized here is a completely internal one. Uncovering the cryptic nature of the solar system, the ever-evolving expanse of space, and understanding your place in it is how you progress. It's from this beautiful back and forth of exploration and information that immerses you, it engages you, that inflames your curiosity. There is really nothing quite like it that has existed before, or might ever exist again. The Outer Wilds is undoubtedly and is sincerely one of the greatest video games of all time, and I encourage And I insist that you go into this experience with the smallest amount of information as you possibly can. You will only ever get to truly experience the Outer Wilds just once, and that is the beauty and the point of it all. Awakening from primordial darkness, a man with memories akin to fingerprints on an abandoned photograph convulses. He anxiously inspects his surroundings. He is hungover and is sick with overwhelming despair. The daylight pierces through his sunken eyes and stabs into the depths of his frail, worn-out skull. Self-doubt and loathing emanates from his very core. He is uncertain of even his name or how he came to be. He tries to unravel the mess and the filth that surrounds him, the mess and the filth that surrounds his very existence. But he cannot, for this is who he is, for this is who you are, whether you like it or not. Disco Elysium is a narrative-focused RPG that was released in 2019 by developers Zaum, set largely in the fictional city of Ravicol and in the realist world of Elysium. Your unnamed and unknown character awakens in an exhausted and harsh landscape, tasked with solving both a mysterious murder and with solving the many mysteries of your hollow self. It's through this dichotomy where the masterful experience that is Disco Elysium truly resides. Venturing out into the world of Elysium, you will at first know nothing about it. You will know nothing of the characters that inhabit its spaces or of your relationships to them. It's all a vague recollection of roughly faded understandings. But through this lack of understanding, through this curiosity, is where Disco Elysium provides you with the opportunity to ask all of your questions. These questions are often abstract and are disconcerted, yet more often than not, will result in answers. Because not only are you lacking in fundamental knowledge, you are playing as a detective who is trying to solve a murder. And asking questions is exactly what detectives are supposed to do. This multi-layered learning experience allows for some truly masterful and immersive storytelling, and it envelops you. It encourages you to venture forth and to find the answers to all of its mysteries. Fortunately though, throughout this dizzying whirlwind of crimes and confusion, you are accompanied by a character known as Kim Kitsuragi, a level-headed and particular detective who provides you with a perfect anchor of reality on which to lean. Kim is just one of the many characters throughout Disco Elysium that brings this world to life. The dialogue and the acting on display in Disco Elysium is without a doubt some of the best to have ever been written down and to have ever been recorded. It's almost like you are interacting with a great novel, except all of its pages have been ripped out and it's up to you to piece them back together, and not necessarily in the right order. This is your journey. This is yours to solve, and how you approach it is up to you. Disco Elysium consistently stands out as one of the greatest narrative RPGs to have ever been written, and it's really not hard to see why when you first awaken from that primordial darkness. There are many more games that I would like to talk about that didn't make this list, so if you enjoyed this video, please let me know down below and maybe I could talk about a few more that I have enjoyed, and that you might enjoy too. Thanks for watching.